Have you ever looked into your dog's eyes and felt chosen? Not just the feed me look, but something deeper. We like to think we picked them, tamed them, made them ours. But what if I told you it was the other way around? Science is revealing a different story, a love story that started with a quiet invitation, not a command. And that invitation, it came from them. They saw our fires, our families, and decided to take a chance. So, forget the myth of the caveman snatching a wolf pup. That's just a movie plot. The real story is about curiosity, not conquest. Two species, drawn together by a shared need for connection. A few brave animals stepped out of the shadows and into our lives, changing both our destinies. Understanding this flips everything you thought you knew about your dog. Every tail wag, every nudge is an echo of a decision made thousands of years ago. A decision to trust. Today, we're unraveling that secret history because your dog deserves for you to know the truth. They chose us. And it's time you knew why. This isn't just trivia. It's the foundation of the bond you share. So, let's start at the beginning. The choice was never really ours. Picture the Ice Age. It's freezing. You're huddled by a fire, just trying to survive. You're not looking for a pet. You're hoping not to become prey. Now, imagine you're a wolf. Hungry, cold, and smart enough to notice humans leave scraps behind. Most wolves avoid humans. They're dangerous, unpredictable. But a few wolves are different, less fearful, more curious. They linger at the edge of the firelight, scavenging leftovers, inching closer each night. They're not trying to be friends. They're just taking a risk for an easy meal. These wolves made the first move, not us. They invited themselves to dinner, starting a new relationship on their own terms. We didn't domesticate them. They began to domesticate themselves. It wasn't a plan, just a survival strategy. The bold, non-aggressive wolves got food and survived. Their pups inherited that same boldness. Over generations, this self-selection set them on a new evolutionary path. The wolves who could tolerate us thrived. The rest stayed wild. This was the beginning of a partnership, one that started with a simple act of courage. The first step wasn't ours, it was theirs. And that changed everything. The story of dogs begins with wolves who dared to come close. They saw opportunity, not just danger. And that's how the journey started. Not with a leash, but with a leap of faith. The wolves who chose us became something new. They became the ancestors of our dogs. We picture wolves as fierce, snarling predators. But that's not the whole truth. Most wolves are cautious, even fearful of new things, especially humans. Aggressive wolves wouldn't have survived near us. They'd be seen as threats. The truly timid ones stayed away, missing out on easy food. The real pioneers were the outliers, curious, calm, and willing to take a chance. These weren't alpha wolves. They were the chill ones, the ones who didn't bolt at the first sign of trouble. They watched, waited, and calculated the risk. Their calm temperament was the golden ticket. It let them get close enough to benefit from humans, without getting hurt. This unique trait started a genetic revolution. In every group, it's the outliers who change the game. For wolves, it was the calm, curious ones who became the ancestors of dogs. They weren't trying to be our friends, just to survive smarter. But that survival strategy changed everything, and it's why your dog is curled up at your feet today. These bold wolves hung around human camps for generations. Every night, an unspoken test played out. Who gets to stay? Aggressive wolves were driven off. Timid ones never got close enough. The winners were the Goldilocks wolves, not too bold, not too shy. They learned to read humans, keeping just the right distance. They got the scraps, stayed healthy, and had more pups. Evolution was happening right at our campfires. Humans noticed. These wolves barked at threats and cleaned up leftovers. It was a win-win: food and safety for wolves, security and cleanliness for humans. No one planned it. It just happened. A partnership was born, built on mutual benefit. The wolves who fit in best thrived. Their genes shaped the future of dogs. It was natural selection, right at our doorstep. And it changed both our species forever. We think evolution favors the strongest, but here, it was the friendliest who survived. Friendliness became a biological advantage. As wolves grew tamer, their bodies changed. Floppy ears, shorter snouts, softer features. These traits are linked to the same genes that control temperament. It's called domestication syndrome, a package deal of cuteness and calm. Over generations, these wolves looked and acted more like puppies. Humans found them irresistible. The friendliest pups thrived, generation after generation. They weren't just tamer wolves, they were becoming dogs. All because they chose friendliness over fear. The result? A new kind of animal, perfectly suited for life with us. Dogs were born from the courage to be kind. Friendliness was just the start. To truly thrive, early dogs had to understand us. They became experts at reading our faces, gestures, and emotions. Unlike other animals, dogs learned to follow our gaze and pointing. They cracked the code of human communication. Even their eyebrows evolved. Dogs can raise them to make their eyes look bigger and sadder, triggering our nurturing instincts. Wolves can't do that. Dogs learned to manipulate our emotions, and we loved them for it. This deep empathy set dogs apart from every other animal. They didn't just tolerate us, they bonded with us. Dogs can sense our moods, even smell our emotions. When you're stressed, your dog knows. When you're happy, they celebrate with you. This wasn't taught. It was learned over thousands of years. Dogs became fluent in the language of the human heart. That's what makes our bond so unique. Ever wonder why your dog circles before lying down or brings you their favorite toy? These aren't just quirks. They're ancient instincts. Circling comes from wolves making a safe bed in the wild. Bringing you a toy? That's sharing, just like wolves bringing food to the pack. Kicking up grass after going to the bathroom? It's about marking territory with scent. Every odd habit is a window into their wild past. These behaviors helped their ancestors survive. Now they play out on your living room rug. Your dog's quirks are living history. They're reminders of where they came from and how far they've come. Over time, the relationship deepened into true partnership. Early humans realized these new companions were incredible allies. Dogs could hear, smell, and run better than us. Perfect hunting partners. Together, we hunted more, survived better, and grew closer. But it wasn't just about work. It was about companionship. On cold nights, dogs offered warmth and trust. They became our guards, our friends, our family. This bond changed both our brains. Looking into your dog's eyes releases oxytocin, the love hormone. It's a feedback loop of trust and affection. Dogs aren't just pets. They're part of our story. They helped shape who we are. We wouldn't be the same without them. They truly are man's best friend. We think we rescue dogs when we adopt them. But look at the bigger picture. Who made the first move? It was those brave wolves who chose us. They rescued themselves from a harsh world and rescued us from loneliness. They taught us about loyalty, friendship, and love without words. Every time your dog rests their head on your lap, remember, it's the result of a 30,000-year-old choice. They choose you every day. Of all the places they could be, they choose to be with you. We think we pick them, but really, they picked us. You were chosen, accepted into the oldest partnership in history. The choice was always theirs. And aren't we lucky for it? That's the real secret behind the bond you share.